so our idea was to do some fundraising with puppies, of course. I'm Emily.
I'm Michaela.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Alice.
Puppies work.
And then to start out, we're just gonna be showing that we talked to some animal shelters and then our fundraising ideas.
Okay, so our main goal with all of this was to just increase awareness of the museum by hosting events or being involved in events that increase publicity or brought direct fundraising to the museum. And obviously people love dogs, so we did the dog things. So first we reached out to a bunch of different animal shelters via email or phone call. So NoCo Humane we emailed, Animal Friends Alliance we called and left a message. Haven't heard back yet. That's okay. We got a lot of other good responses. All aboard, we also emailed Habit. We called them and we got clarification that organization is more of individual families have dogs that they trained to be emotional support or therapy animals. And so they would be open to doing that, but we would have to reach out to the families individually to bring their dogs. It's not like a shelter. And then at Big Bones, we also emailed and called. We called, right? Okay. The next one. So then, just some specific email responses that we got. This is from NoCo Humane. Both of them, and the next one too, were very equally enthusiastic about it. They just wanted to know about details and logistics and dates, which obviously this is only if you guys do want to do this. But yeah, they were all very excited about it, and so we would just bring the dogs in, and that would bring awareness. People could come see the puppies, or even it would also help the shelters because they would be doing their adoption side of it too. So it could bring people in to see the museum and then also see puppies. So that was one of our ideas that we started off.
We also got a call back from Big Bones. In general, every single organization we reached out to was just super enthusiastic, but especially Big Bones, considering the fact that they're a rescue. It's great for them to get their dogs out there, help them get recognition, and then some of our ideas, even helps them get exercise later on. But in general, everyone was super enthusiastic, but especially Big Bones.
And here are some of our fundraising ideas that we had. So participating in Tour de Corgi, doing a dog walkathon, or paint your pup.
Discussed that before.
So our first idea we had was participating in Tour de Corgi. So I know that that's a really big thing here in Fort Collins. I went this year and it was really cool and very fun. And so this year it will be held on October 4th in Old Town. And so you could participate as a event sponsor or register as a nonprofit corporation. And so if you register as a nonprofit, you get free registration and receive a 10 by 10 foot space for your business during the event. So what you could do with that is you could sell products maybe and raise money and then increase awareness of the Museum of Art while there. And then as an event sponsor, you get your company's logo on the Tour de Corgi website for a year. You get your name and sponsorship announced on the page, and your name is on the day of event map and flyer that is passed out to all the participants. This will increase your publicity and also just get your name out so people can be more aware. And I think also next year, if you wanted to, you could reach out to Tour de Corgi and see if they would be open to having a route that goes in front of the Fort Collins Museum of Art, and then you can advertise more that way too.
Have a big sign up front, so when they're walking around with their corgis, it's look at our museum.
Our next idea was organizing a 5K walkathon. Just in terms of the museum, it's got a super low overhead cost. So the maximum amount of profit you can make really maximizes that with the low amount of expenses that come with it. It's gonna be great to get the museum's name out there. In terms of nonprofit organizations, rescues and museums are the two giants of the industry. So kind of pairing with that, really will help boost you guys get out there. And of course for the local adoption agencies, it's super easy to set up for them. They don't have to do a whole lot, and it promotes the visibility for them. And in the case of the walkathon, it really helps their animals, get out of the shelter, get out of the kennels, and get exercise. So I kind of made a little mock example of what it could look like. So I figured a realistic number for something like this is about 150 people. I saw anything from Google where they could exceed easily 500 in some cases, but I figured the first time it'd probably be a little lower at about 150. For a 5K walkathon, it's a lot easier just to do a flat fee instead of every mile you walk, you get $5. So I said a registration fee of about $30 seems realistic. And just from the registration fee alone, you're earning $4,500 in revenue. And then even after the fact, some additional things you could do. I don't know quite how much you guys merchandise, but I figured if you sold t-shirts or anything really, magnets, stickers, you could earn anywhere from $300 to $500. I like to assume that, you could probably split the donations with the rescues. I said about 50% participants donated $5, you get $375 additional dollars right there. And then I figured, I'm sure companies will be really all over this to sponsor their company's name and really be all, get their name out there. So I said if you get about 150 per company, you'd be anywhere from $600 to $1,000. So without the expenses being brought into it, you're looking anywhere from $5,775 to $6,375. Then the expenses, this is really a lot cheaper than I thought it was gonna be to run. The city, to acquire the city permits to run something like this, it's about $50 for a nonprofit, $100 for anyone else. PFA operational permits, as far as I understood, that's like if you have to, in the worst case scenario, you have to call like the fire department or the police department, which I don't think you're gonna have to do for a 5K walkathon, but it's about $250 for an event this size. To sell merchandise, it'd be an $8 sales license, so if you guys don't end up doing that, then you can take the $8 off. And then liability insurance, it kind of depends on who you guys go with on this, but for an event about this size, about $500. I mean, if it exceeds like 300, 350, you'd probably be closer to 1,000. But your total expenses are $808. And then when you kind of do all the math to get this, for every dollar you spend on expenses, you're gonna get $7.15 in revenue.
Okay, so our last idea was paint your pup. So basically the idea behind that is we could try to get CSU art students, maybe from like a CSU art club. I did reach out to a CSU art club, just haven't heard back from them yet. Or we could like hire some sort of person that would be willing to do like character drawings of people's like puppy and maybe themselves as well. Just something that's like super simple, easy, so they can be done quickly, but also something that's super cute. We could even put like the Museum of Art kind of like logo underneath, just so that when people take that home, it reminds them of the Museum of Art, and maybe that makes them like come back because they have such fond memories or just had so much fun. I kind of had like some details of how much it may cost and how much revenue we could make. So the cost per drawing could be about $15. And if there were about like 75 visitors, we could get potential revenue about $1,000 with the cost of materials, which is like markers, paper, etc., of like $125. Some benefits for the Museum of Art is it can just help increase the amount of visitors and just like get more foot traffic to come. And yeah.
So this is a flyer that we made for you guys if you wanted to like look at it. It kind of has more like information and like summarizes our ideas that we had, so you could keep that if you wanted to like look at like our ideas in the future.
So you do walk a dog on the walkathon?
Yes.
You walk your own dog or a shelter dog?
You could do either one, really. I mean, our idea
Okay.
was that you would do a shelter dog, but I mean, if you want to do your own dog.
Okay,
I mean, it
no, I was
maximizes
just curious.
revenue either way.
The
Yeah,
shelters
well,
are interested because then the dogs
Yeah.
can walk.
Yeah. I follow those two guys on Instagram. If you follow those two guys that go and they walk dogs from the shelter to increase their visibility and then try and get them adopted, so that's why I was kind of wondering.
And when we called and like emailed and reached out to them, we brought up the idea of the walkathon to them, and they were like, "That sounds so cool."
Oh, good.
And then we were mentioning how we would partner with you all, and then the profits would go to you guys for that
And
fundraising.
I saw how on Noco Humane on their website they also like have already hosted like 5Ks like this before, so they already know like how to set this up if you guys want to partner with them too.
And I do believe that when I talked to Big Bones, they sounded pretty excited about the idea of that too, so I did mention that to them.
It's funny, I've actually been to a Big Bones event before at Mash Lab Brewing in Windsor, and they love those events so much. They said it was their most successful one, and I know the marketing person at MASH, so there's a good chance that maybe the three of us bring Mash Lab Brewing in.
Beer dogs.
Beer
like-
dogs, that's Fort Collins.
beer dogs.
Yeah, it's paint your bike. That's all it's on.
Yeah.
Some dogs love beer.
Oh.
I've seen that.
My dog could use some beer.
Yeah, so I love that.
And
I
yeah,
love
these-
that this one's out of the box, right?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, we know this when we do our strategic research that people in Fort Collins don't list art as the top of their values. They list dogs before art. So this is a way to maybe move up a little bit.
I mean, do
You can't have dogs without art, right?
Yeah. You could even do, there's so many famous paintings, like old world artists that have dogs in them that people don't notice. Like you could
That
even.
could be art, or
Yes,
actually,
like
Yeah.
a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, yeah, you could do something like that.
or even like photo contest of the dogs, you know.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be
That
fun,
can
yeah.
be something as well. I added that to their idea.
I, like Lisa said, I love that you all did the research. Josie and I have worked with classes before at CSU, and it was like, here's some ideas for you, and then the students disappeared, and we're like, yeah, they were good, but they weren't actually as well researched as these ideas have been,
Or practical.
or
Oh, yeah.
practical.
Mhm.
And the students weren't really willing to do the work
Mhm.
after they left. So these are all practical. You've made the phone calls, you've done the work. A question I have for you all is, you seem really excited about us. It's like, are
Yeah,
you
why?
really? Yeah, like,
What's the-
why? No.
Do you like
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you guys are really engaged with this as an institution. Am I right? Yeah, like, is this a better project than most?
Oh, yes.
Okay. That's what the other class said too. They were like, oh my God, the other projects were so boring. Okay, well, I mean, that just makes me feel good as I leave in 2 days. So, you guys are all here, you're gonna take over. Good to know.
But seriously, if anyone does want to share, like, what makes you feel engaged in this,
Mhm.
I would be so curious to know. Someone has to.
There we go, you got a hand.
So I'm from Fort Collins, and so we used to, when I was really, really little, but my sister did like little art classes here when she was younger, and I came and did that, and so it's definitely like special to, it's like a staple in Fort Collins, in my opinion. And also like my high school, our like jazz little quartet situation, we like rented out downstairs and like we're able to perform in your space, and that brought people into the exhibits that were here. And so it's just like, it's a really fun like multi-use space, I guess, that like obviously the exhibitions are really awesome and it brings people in and it's like a win-win for everyone. So yeah, I just feel like it would be really sad if we lost it. So
I feel like I've had a lot of fun with this project just because I'm a STEM major, so normally like I don't get to do things that are like, oh hello, like super cute and creative, and I went crazy on Canva making those posters, but it was really fun, and I think it's nice to be able to like have like passion for the things that I study, but also still give merit to like, it's really fun to do things that are more creative and more artistic than so like structured, I think.
Got another one?
Yeah, I also like, I think as I grew up, I was also just gravitated towards art, and like I think it was very much my parents, like in this small town that I grew up in, my dad's a part of like the art collective there and is actually actively trying to build a museum, and so it I think has just become part of like my life to like want to go and see the art that people make. And so when I brought him here literally on Sunday, he was like, I was telling him about this project, and so it was cool for him to like be able to actually see the museum and like get to see and like all the auction masks and everything, because we fell in love with that like one with the tree that has a sculpture. It's
Oh,
so cool. But I think that's kind of like also because I'm a STEM major and just love art, and so it's my way of escape.
I would say the same too. Being a STEM major, you kind of like have these parameters on your schedule, and it's really nice to do something outside of the box once in a while. I'm also an only child, so art was like a big thing of my childhood, and I also went to my local museum and did art classes there as well. So art has always been just a staple in my life. So
You had your hand raised earlier.
Mine's like less kind of a personal anecdote, but I just feel like art is being like going and seeing places in museums and art is just being less valued as technology becomes more in, especially like in our generation, and there's just such a pressure put on like STEM fields, and like that's comes from someone who is a double major in 2 STEM fields, but it's but like humanities and art are underestimated for how important they are. I think especially for the average person who thinks like, oh, Zach Hero, that's just a painting. Like I could do that. Like that's like I think it can just be a lot more value put on it because I feel like it's died, especially in our generation with the place for technology and STEM.
Yeah.
I have to say, I love that there are so many STEM majors in here. I have a biology degree, and I agree with a lot of you that a lot of STEM people just don't see art the way that a lot of people do. So I love that it seems to be more kind of infiltrating that whole system, because I didn't know very many artists when I was in college. So at least in that particular sector. So that's really awesome to hear.
Thank you. We can release you from there. Thank you so much.